So we got some pretty amazing news for you guys, including the Outriders demo being patched already for an exploit, what's included in the Windblume Festival in Genshin Impact, the merry Skelter Finale is finally coming to the Western Shores, Blade & Soul finally getting the Unreal Engine 4 upgrade, and could FromSoftware finally be reviving the Armored Core franchise. Hello everyone, my name is Solomon SK for Coffee and RPGs, where we cover the latest news trends and updates for the RPG gaming genre, including MMOs, survival, JRPGs, online RPGs, and the like. If you guys got your cut ready with your beverage of choice, I'm drinking coffee as always. Let's go ahead and go over these articles together. Cheers to you guys.
Consider hitting the subscribe button down below, as well as the bell notification right next to it. Thank you.
So let's go ahead and kick things off with a few articles from PCGamer.com, and the first one here says that players are farming so many legendaries in the Outriders demo that it had to be changed. And as you can see here, we have the official handle for Outriders in their Twitter account, and it goes on to say that players have discovered that by selecting the story point, confront the altered at the tower in the lobby at the world tier 5, they could zip past 3 chests with a high chance of containing legendaries without having to fight anyone. Then they duck back into the lobby and repeat the entire process over and over again. Now with that being said, I think it's a pretty good idea to have this demo out in the first place to kind of test things out before the full release of the game. Now the studio did say that this is not a beta and this actually is a demo, but the progress that you could save in the demo will be carried on over on April 1st when the game actually comes out. Just when you thought the Division 2's life is finally over, it actually has been extended, as it says here in their next article, that the Division 2's next big update won't be out until late 2021 at the earliest. And it goes on to read that Title Update 12, released back in December of 2020, had been planned as the game's final major update, but there was apparently enough demand to keep the wheels turning in this game. Adrian Traska and Yannick Banero, I'm butchering his name, so I do apologize, will be staying on the game as the producer and associate creative director. And the next big update will include all new game modes as well as a new way to progress your agent, with an emphasis on increasing build variety and viability. I've always assumed that looter shooters would continually get updates as so long as it was making lots of money for the company, and so therefore I assumed, oh well, maybe the crowd just kind of moved on to other looter shooters and not making so much money for the companies anymore. But in the case of the Division 2, maybe there's still that small amount that's just kind of willing to give the companies enough money or time or effort or whatever you want to call it in order for them to continue to pump story and content out for this game. But I don't know, that's just my 2 cents. And in their next article, it says that a dating sim comes to Genshin Impact in the Invitation of Windblume update. And it goes on to read that Genshin Impact's upcoming 1.4 patch will take players to Mondstadt Windblume Festival, challenging them to a whole new pile of minigames. And as for the dating sim part, it goes on to say that players at the Windblume Festival can spend time with Barbara, Noelle, Bennett, and Chongyun, going through small stories about the characters in a series of hangout events, and that's in quotes. But the one thing that people are probably most looking forward to is the new character, which is Rosaria, and she's in the game too. She is a character that uses a giant spear with ice element, or cryo in this case, and her magic is pretty explosive, allowing her to teleport around for backstabs and release some nasty damage over time effects. And let's go ahead and switch gears and head on over to MMORPG.com for a few articles. And in their first one, it says that the SEC approved Microsoft's purchase of ZeniMax, clearing one more obstacle in the acquisition's path. And we all know that this deal was huge. I believe it was something like $12 billion or some crazy amount of money. And the last hurdle, major hurdle in this case, would be to get the approval from the EU Competition Bureau if they haven't done so already. And in their next article, it says that what could be Perfect World's unannounced game? And yes, Perfect World Entertainment is working on a new game. It could be an MMO or an RPG or something completely different. Who knows? No one really knows, and we actually find this out because they've actually posted a few job listings for people with experiences developing certain type of titles and whatnot. And so again, if you are a Perfect World Entertainment fan, good on you. I like some of their games as well, but if you take out some of the comments in the comment section of any article mentioning this, it's gonna be a bunch of people saying, oh, another pay-to-win game, but I'll let you be the judge of that. And in their next article, this actually caught my attention for all the wrong reasons, I think. But anyways, it says that Star Stable Online releases new era in an ASMR video. And if you guys didn't know already, I actually do have a second channel that I call my quasi-ASMR channel called Relaxing Gaming Scenes, where I just kind of compile all the relaxing scenes in various games out there and compile them together with relaxing music and stuff like that. So you could check that out. But anyways, moving on to this article. Now, it's not so much that this game released a 5-hour ASMR video that caught my attention, but the fact that this is an MMO horse game where you actually breed and raise horses and whatnot. I know there's a word for this that starts with an E, like esca something. Anyways, I probably should have looked that up before I recorded this video. But do know that this game is particularly geared towards a more younger demographic than anything else. Just gonna put that out there just so that you know, and so it's very family friendly. Let's go ahead and shift gears one more time and head on over to masteroftheop.com for a few articles. And the first one here says that take a look at 25 minutes worth of Aliens Fireteam gameplay. I actually do remember covering this game a number of months ago, and there was an article speculating that this next Aliens game could have been an MMO given the track record from Daybreak and Cold Iron Studios, but that looks like it won't be the case. Although, you know, co-op game, close enough, I'll still take it. I do have some of that 25 minutes playing right now above me, but if you want to take a look for yourself, a link to this will be down in the pinned comment section below if you want to take a look. But definitely be sure to click on that after you watch this video. I'd appreciate it. And in their next article, and probably one of the most saltiest news of the week so far, ArcheAge Unchained announces new fresh start servers arriving on March 25th as server merges continue. And yes, the legacy or the first version of ArcheAge is merging with the ArcheAge Unchained servers, and I did have some pretty cool names, admittedly, but I don't really care for the game enough to actually go back and try to get those names, to be honest with you. So I'm just gonna let it be. But anyways, it does go on to say that there are, or will be, excuse me, one NA server and one EU server, and will have similar restrictions as other fresh start servers, limiting auction houses and instancing to each other's servers populations only. Switching gears one more time, let's head on over to MMOculture.com for one article, and it says here that Blade and Soul Western servers to receive the Unreal Engine 4 update this summer. And it goes on to say that the Unreal Engine 4 upgrade is not only big content update happening for the Blade and Soul so far this year. On the horizon is a new character class, third specializations for existing classes, new dungeons, and new systems as well. If you guys have been watching this channel for a while, you guys know that I'm a huge fan of this game, particularly when it comes to the character designer for this game, who used to be Kim Tae-hyung, and he's probably one of my most favorite character designers right now. And so I can't wait to jump back into this game after this update releases, but I'll definitely will be playing it and maybe even stream it before this happens, just to kind of get a feel for it, because I haven't played this game in over a year, it feels like. And moving on over to GamesRadar.com, it says in their first article here that Square Enix bans almost 6,000 Final Fantasy XIV players following an investigation into real money trading. And this is something that a lot of MMORPGs struggle with or try to combat against, but at the end of the day, almost 6,000 players, that's a lot of accounts that they had to ban, unfortunately. Or fortunately, because they went against TOS, but anyways. And in their next article, this is very unfortunate for all you Destiny fans out there, but it does go on to say that Destiny 2 Trials of Osiris canceled indefinitely while Bungie investigates win trading solutions. And it goes on to read here that last week's Trial of Osiris event was cut short when Bungie realized players were using various exploits to cheat their way into flawless clears. It isn't clear how long Trials of Osiris will be unavailable to players, but it is clear that this weekend's event isn't happening, and there's a really big possibility that the next week's Trials of Osiris event might be canceled just altogether. And this is really exciting for me, assuming it's true, so definitely take this next article with a grain of salt. But God of War and Ghost of Tsushima are in line for PC ports, according to a leaker. And if this is true, man, I just can't wait to play Ghost of Tsushima. I'm unable to because I don't own a PlayStation, but I do have a pretty good PC that can run it, or I would assume it can run. I'm using anyways. And the leaker in question goes by the name of Crazy Leaks on the Train, and as you can see there, that is his Twitter handle. But anyways, if this is true, I really hope this is the direction that Sony is going to go and put more of their first party games on the PC, so that a lot of people will be able to enjoy it, not just people with the PlayStation 4 console. Although Yeah, I can't complain at the end of the day. This is really cool news if it is true. And in the next article, it says that Elden Ring leaker claims PvP combat and class systems returning to the game. Again, another article that you have to take a grain of salt with because this is all rumors at this point. But it does go on to say that the leaker in question goes by the name of Omnipotent or Omnipotent, excuse me. And there was an Unearthed leaked video that was leaked, I believe, last week that kind of showed a little bit about what's going on in the game. And in this leaked video, they claim that PvP and quote-unquote online stuff are included as well. And it goes on to say that if this is true, it marks a return to the sort of online interaction we've seen in the past from software games such as Dark Souls, Bloodborne, instead of Sekiro's Die Twice, which is a strictly single-player game. And lastly, it goes on to say that the leaker also claimed to have knowledge of a class system featured in Elden Ring. Apparently, the upcoming FromSoftware game will feature a class system not unlike Dark Souls, where you can pick one class to start out as, but could branch into different paths from there depending on how you assign your level up points. And heading on over to Gematsu.com, and this is definitely for the JRPG fans out there, it says in the first article that Mary's Skelter Finale coming to the West this fall, finally. And yes, this is the conclusion of the Mary Skelter trilogy. Idea Factory International will release the dungeon RPG Mary Skelter Finale for the PlayStation 4 and Switch both physically and digitally in this coming fall in North America and Europe, as the publisher announced. And just really quick, I wanted to show you this article here, which says that NieR Reincarnation downloads tops 10 million. So it either says that Japan really likes the NieR franchise or that this is a really good game, or maybe even both. So these next two articles, the title will be cut off on the right there, so I do apologize, but we do go on to allchart.com, and in this article it says that Tales of Osiris gets a new trailer. Bandai Namco promises more details this spring. And yes, this is a continuation or the next chapter of the Tales of series, which is a beloved JRPG franchise that many people like. And lastly, from allchart.com, it says here, Rumour, FromSoftware's next game is a sci-fi RPG currently in pre-production. And again, take this also with a grain of salt because it is all rumors that I'm very hopeful for, because you guys know how much I love mechs and everything that is mecha. And it goes on to read that according to the latest rumors, FromSoftware's next project could be a sci-fi RPG game. Windows Central Gaming's Miles Dopierre, and I do apologize if I'm mispronouncing his name, states that he has heard some rumblings about such game, which is currently in pre-production. And it goes on to read that what many FromSoftware fans would certainly want to know is what future holds for this popular Japanese studios. We know FromSoftware has many IPs that are waiting to be resurrected after releasing 3 fantasy-themed games, with the 4th one just being around the corner, which is Elden Ring. It's safe to assume that Hidetaka Miyazaki and FromSoftware would love to do something different, and according to the latest rumors, that might be the case. And as always, the article suggests that you take everything with a grain of salt, but with that being said, Hidetaka Miyazaki already revealed that he, quote, definitely wants to bring the Miyazaki touch, end quote, to sci-fi and mecha fans. It's worth mentioning that FromSoftware's Armored Core games did poorly in terms of sales as well as critically compared to the Soul series, so that's one big reason to move on from the franchise. But let's just wait and see. Perhaps the studio has some major plans for this one, and I am definitely hoping that this is the case. We all know that Armored Core isn't an RPG game, it's more like a simulator, similar to maybe like Mech Warrior or something like that, but it's not a far stretch from converting a game such as Armored Core into an RPG. It's totally doable in my opinion. But let it be known that this is my bias. I really do like the Armored Core series, grew up on it, loved it, almost had every single physical copy of the game until I had to sell my collection, but that's another story. But anyways, this is a series that's very near and dear to my heart, and I mean, either way, if it is just a sci-fi game that has nothing to do with Armored Core, I'd still be content with that. But if they did include Armored Core, yeah, I will definitely be covering that very so often. Anyways, and that concludes today's episode of RPG News Updates and Commentary. I really do appreciate it if you made it with me so far, and if you feel as though I have earned your subscription, please consider hitting the subscribe button down below, as well as the bell notification icon right next to it, as that significantly helps out the channel and I would greatly appreciate it. Anyways, everyone, I know that was a lot of articles, so I'll finally let you guys go. Hope you guys have a blessed night, and I will see you guys next time. Cheers again, everyone.